The attitude of faith. Victor was a Jew in a Nazi concentration camp in World War II. He lived in a flea-infested and diseased area. He was constantly badgered, harassed, beaten, and made to carry burdens. Victor said that in this Nazi concentration camp, he could tell when a person was getting ready to give up and die. He could look into the eyes of those around him and see when their attitudes began to change. He could also see it in their posture as they walked, when hopelessness had taken over their life. Although physically they could have survived and lived longer, mentally they had broken down. Viktor Frankl determined that there was one thing that Nazis could not control in his life. They could not control his attitude. He said, "The last of all human freedoms is the ability to choose one's own attitude, regardless of circumstances." In other words, he couldn't control everything, but he could control himself and his attitude. The spirit of faith affects every area of your life. Paul gives us two necessary ingredients to the spirit of faith: believing and speaking. Believing is the attitude of faith. You can choose fear and doubt, or you can have an attitude of faith. Even in the middle of adversity, your faith will get you to your destination. God will get you there if you will maintain a spirit of faith. You'll have to speak to the mountains and master your attitudes. You may not be able to control what has happened to you in life, but you are able to control your attitude. You have the choice to believe and speak what God says about you. You have the choice to be happy on the way to your divine destination. In a hot air balloon festival, where each balloon is competing to see who could get the closest to a designated destination, there's a certain altitude that the balloons must fly at in order to reach their target. The ones flying at a low level of 1,000 feet would not make it because they would fly south of the destination. But those reaching 3,500 feet, the higher altitude, would make it because there was a different wind blowing there. You see, the people in the balloon could not steer the balloon any way they wanted to at any given time. They could never control that. But they could rise up to higher altitudes, and this would get them to where they needed to go. The hot air balloon experience reminds me of people following Jesus and obeying God. Many times you see everyone heading south and you think, this is just the way life is. However, if you want to go a different direction and get on the target God has for you, you're going to have to rise up in the spirit. Rise up in the more than conqueror mindset. Rise up in faith that proclaims, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. If you're living by your feelings and circumstances, you'll be flying right at 1,000 feet, and you will head south of your destination. But if you rise up in the spirit, there is another wind blowing that will take you to the divine destiny God has for you.